the first to know Nsem-Pii TV.
Amo akwa babimba Nsem-Pii TV so. Obi a odin dwuma Asempa FM we kosi sendwumadie so na de ne ho adwene yie pa. Abra na ne reporter de amanebo a efri course court bono F5 Mami Sisida pa former minister for sanitation and water resources. On office of the special prosecutor Yewura Kissi Agyabeng. Abra omkopie mo court na court order Yewura Kissi Agyabeng say on return sika and Mami Sisida pa sika and properties are wasizi nyina emano na Yewura Kissi Agyabeng dwuma as a special prosecutor no as a onim duoye otietie Ghana for ya no and otietie nsem a kwabonti say oh why say kwachino OSP kwachino and odidi ni dwuma menka ne sa nene obi ho adwene ye pa bra na reporter amanebo anansem a course court no obi chim say nti Yewura Kissi Agyabeng we pa na ato no court wo na message ebeko ni akotie obi ne reporter no nsema no mudi tudwa efa Yewura Kissi Agyabeng ma Sisida pa bra mkopi mo court no
de a course support mistress will be you assume na fe wetie nsem ne mu eye Richard Akwaba na etsen
nyame adome hoye
great nti and a day in a course what was before the court and a court no judgment na
Okay, so yenhwe OSP asama mo de koda na court no nti we conducted search no they discovered $590,000 and 2.7 million Ghana cedis.
Okay.
And I almost suspected says our property almost discover a tainted property. So it's mere based on suspicion.
Sure.
So they suspected that it was based on a tainted property.
Tainted.
So the OSP and Sohara almost also called the bank accounts. So today they mentioned the two bank accounts, the Societe Generale and the Prudential Bank. And the amount they found in the transaction of the accounts, they did not disclose.
Okay.
But so that was what happened, and so they decided to exercise their power of seizure. And then they also exercise their power to freeze the account of Madam Cecilia Dapa.
Accounts now man declared the amount a woman.
Exactly.
But now in the fear physical cash $590,000
and 2.7 million Ghana cedis.
Yes.
Exactly. Okay. OSP asamene say sasika the sources in they remain doubtful. They don't know where the monies are coming from. Exactly.
Okay.
And so per the OSP Act so munya sikabi and now some investigation munya sikabi no mutumi freeze accounts na they need to go to the court, the high court, for the high court to confirm the seizure of the property and then also confirm the freezing of the property they found in her account.
Okay.
You see, and no any the OSP ni case. The case of all the respondents, Madam Cecilia Dapa, Samson said, OSP asamna okano OSP ananka say a breach or no law. The law that establishes the OSP omo breach because the law mandates the OSP to go to the court to confirm the seizure and then the freezing within a period of 7 days. Now the OSP went to court on the 14th day.
14 days after say Omuko seizes our properties.
Exactly.
And Omuko court. Abra Emrane so Omuko 7 days.
Yes.
Okay.
Nti Omu asamamodi to court na enim say and asamamodi to court na enim say court no confirm the freezing and the seizure and then the court condone illegality.
Okay.
The court may be giving it blessing to something
which is
illegal and the court was not set up to do so because it's supposed to uphold the law. Inti omo asem no say the conditions na nkebema OSP seize the property they were not met. So in law number can is a condition precedent. So something should necessitate an action to be taken. But the OSP ain't this so. Inti oshe ninyina na say OSP na kasano it acted in excess of jurisdiction.
Okay.
Exactly. And to Madam Cecilia Dapa property no munya woni fie any they own accounting ninyina they were property that were cleanly acquired.
Exactly.
They were acquired when she had not even come into the public space
minister.
Exactly. And so that is the case
of Cecilia
Dapam. Yeah, the courts, So the court sets down 4 issues for determination on this matter.
Okay.
So initially, they raised the issue of capacity. Say affidavit normally call, it wasn't the OSP himself that signed it and that authorized it.
Affidavit.
Okay. But the OSP in the office, someone that was also equally clothed with the power to authorize so. that until the court found that Madam Cecilia Dapa it was far-fetched.
Okay.
And so OSP boss issue of capacity no boto chine. And then the second one related to the issue to look into whether the condition precedents were met. Say niamana nka OSP so gina so ansa no freeze account. The court found say OSP no ono ndi ne mbra no so.
Okay.
So almost said say some sections of the OSP Act no omo ekomuni ade one after the other na say OSP ndi sa niamana so, and they found that the OSP nankasa acted he acted in an arbitrary manner. So there was procedural impropriety.
And no, in relation to 7 days, 14 days at the end.
There be even a quina or J, Madam Cecilia Dapa property.
Okay.
So they acted in an arbitrary manner and proceeded no fire. Lawyers in Bekacho say, it was fraught with procedural impropriety.
Yes.
And based on that, court no share almost say within 7 days sika na omokofa no fi ho no and then the next issue was sikana freezing freeze accounts and also condition precedents say the OSP they froze the woman's account when an investigation is already in motion. Our investigation on the outcome yenim. And if you go ahead and freeze the account and no more win jinaswa odibe jinaso. And so based on that court ne share say omunko yi omonsa enfam free account.
Now investigations into accounts say OSP na investigations.
Exactly. But the outcome is not known.
It's not known.
So all of these things the court indicated say the OSP acted based on public sentiment.
Exactly.
And mere speculation. According to the court, OSP among for so that is what the court really indicated. And based on that, courts Eddie Oshe order almost say go and give back the property of Cecilia Dapa to her and then unfreeze her account
while your investigations continue.
Exactly. So now the question remains, now that the legs of the OSP as far as the freezing of the account and then the seizure of the property, where do we go next? A dear crime, because we know said this one is different from the criminal prosecution that is currently ongoing. So I know the touchy yet because then the people are in court already. But on this OSP's pursuit of this case, where do we go from here?
But is it the case of the OSP say omo freeze account and seizing the properties ebe hamper omo investigations
Yes, so according to what the OSP put out so omo freeze and na property odibi ekwesie.
Okay.
So that matter came up say they didn't want her to conceal any of the property because she is under investigation.
Yes.
But according to the court, so Madam Cecilia Dapa will be ODC nka when the criminal aspect of the case was triggered. No names or under investigation as far as the criminal aspect is concerned. This can be but one who be until your honor OSP be searching no nya scan until say adwumboni bi odi trim say and that is what the court said.
Basically say Osha court ruling what it means to the OSP going forward and they say OSP who a suspect say ebia when your property be and or more genuine suspicion say
exactly
ebia the source of sika or the yes our property a tainted.
Yes.
Does this stop the OSP from maybe seizing that property and they say scare what account ma freezing it completely and now say the OSP can do that but also go through proper procedure.
Yes,
to do
so
that.
so the law makes provision for that. In fact, Section 40 of the OSP Act, it makes provision for that. It set out any 32(2). It set out the conditions precedent, the conditions under which the OSP can exercise the power of seizure.
Okay,
exactly.
And once the commission, this High Court said, so
once these conditions are met, the OSP can go ahead and freeze the property of whoever the OSP is investigating, and then seize the asset of the person. So once all of these are followed strictly, the court will have no problems.
Yes. And what it means, they say, even after judgment way from the High Court, no, the OSP can get back into default mode and start everything afresh.
Yeah, so it is my considered opinion, say the OSP, in some good now. So go back to ground zero, satisfy the conditions, and if you want to still freeze the account, make sure that you satisfy the conditions, and the court actually put out these conditions, spelled out them, explain them one after the other, what it means and all of that. So the OSP, as far as this matter is concerned, it can go on and do its duty, but it should do it within the legal parameters that have been set by its own act.
Because the OSP is a creation of statute.
Exactly.
And so statute is what provided processes that was offered, and you have to strictly go.
In fact, one of the things the court said was that, the court is generally there to uphold the rule of law. It might not be seen to be perpetrating or condoning illegality. So once you go against an enabling legislation, the court will not watch you and give its blessings to you. So interestingly, we saw Madam Cecilia Rapa, because it was a virtual meeting. We saw her.
Not just we're in a court now, sitting in person because of legal vacation.
The judge was in court. The judge was in court, but the other people joined virtually. So the virtual joining, it was impossible for you to read the reaction from them because you can't see them clearly. So will be frowning and will be expressing disappointment and will be so that was generally how the showdown went.
and my young kind, I don't know if and also by up in court. Also sometimes procedure in the rules of court. And sometimes court to me waive non-compliance. But when it's about statute, say we work on what about sections, section 40 of the Act and a 32, right? 32(2) of the OSP Act, the OSP is statute. And on a breach there, now court should entertain it. And that's why I think
the court said it was mandatory. And they all should be seen respecting the statute. And so they cannot give them an exemption or exercise any discretionary powers based on the breaches of a statute.
But now OSP so in omo argument, is it a case now omo nim say condition precedent we or so omo for failure and sana omo because sana it gives credence to the court's verdict on them, say as omo play to the public gallery.
Well, so that is the question. Amount for Bisa say, you have your act, and you were supposed to go within the mandatory 7 days. I said, acting. Why did you go beyond that one? So that argument was heavily contested by the respondent, Madam Cecilia, the lawyers, and that was one key thing they based on. That should the courts go ahead, no more uphold the argument of the OSP. Then it means that because now the OSP, the actor can clearly spell out something, and the OSP may be seen doing something different. And then the other thing was that statute, you see what he said now, and I see a disrespected statute. Otherwise, it disables our entire legal system.
It was a substantive law.
Exactly.
Wow. And you share the OSP. Unfortunately, virtual into no more reactions from parties. It ensure the OSP be going forward. But this is really an interesting decision. But it's also good because a guide will be
and you said this is the first time. Setting up the OSP. This is the first time such a decision has come within the OSP investigation. So going forward, it will guide a lot of people,
Absolutely.
and how the OSP will do its act,
ma.
and whether the OSP will appeal this ruling and Abibisa,
Which is also possible,
which is also a legal remedy open to them. So we do not know, but it's an interesting, for me sitting here, it's an interesting development, and I'm learning more about what should happen going forward.
Interesting. Richard, my nase, Bibiani Ebesia din Komobio, Richard Kojonya Akon, a legal affairs correspondent, and Amotesi and no Edin Komo, Ekosi saying Sonny, a higher Nsem-Pii. Yeah, WhatsApp number say unia me pa cho to homa me na unso fa